Today we're going to be starting a new series where we take an in-depth look at some of the greatest teams in football history. So let me know in the comments down below what teams you think deserve to be revisited. The most upvoted team on every video will be the topic of the next video in this series. In this first installment, we're going to be breaking down the most dominant team in Champions League history. Zinedine Zidane's Real Madrid, that won the Champions League an unprecedented 3 times in a row, from 2016 to 2018. This video is brought to you by OneFootball. OneFootball is hands down the best app for any updates in the football world. From transfers, statistics, goal scorers, assists, or any news, OneFootball will cover it. It's the best app to have while you're watching a game, as it gives you live statistical updates and commentary to help you better understand how the game is being played. OneFootball makes following your favourite team incredibly simple, and the best part about it is that it's completely free. So if you think it's something you might enjoy, click the link in the description down below to get started. Thank you to OneFootball. Real Madrid made history with 2 successive Champions League trophies, a feat that has never been done before in the Champions League era. Add to that a 3rd consecutive trophy, and it's safe to say that this Real Madrid side is one of the greatest the world has ever seen. It proved to be their decade, winning a total of 4 Champions Leagues and 3 La Liga titles in this period. Now, before we understand how they achieved this, let's first look at their main formation and starting 11. While it did take some time for Zidane to truly commit to one system, the team eventually settled for a 4-3-3, which remained the same for the first 2 seasons. While in the last year, the system would often shift into a 4-3-1-2 diamond, given the constant injuries to Gareth Bale. The spine of the team remained consistent for the whole 3 years, with Sergio Ramos, Marcelo, Carvajal, Modric, Ronaldo and Benzema all being ever present within this team. The rest of the squad would eventually pick itself too. In goal, Keylor Navas. In defence, Varane would be paired up with Sergio Ramos. In midfield, Kroos and Casemiro would also prove to be vital for the team. And finally, in attack, Gareth Bale while in a 4-3-3 and Isco in a 4-3-1-2. Real Madrid were also not short of options from the bench, and a substitution which became a key part of the game would often occur in the 70th minute to help see the game home, with Vasquez and Asensio coming on for Bale and Benzema to help improve the team's defensive work rate. Other key players to come on from the bench would be Alvaro Morata up top, or Mateo Kovacic for Modric or Toni Kroos. And in defence, Pepe was also a key player in the back line that proved to be vital in the games he played. Overall, Zidane had at his disposal some of the greatest players in world football, but the players can only get you so far. And along with his consistent tactics, Zidane was able to foster a sense of unity that all managers crave, with each member of the squad doing exactly what was asked of them. So what exactly were the tactics? Well, let's start by taking a look at the main offensive dynamics. When on the ball, Real Madrid would look to use their extremely offensive fullbacks to create the most danger for the opposition, with the 3 midfielders providing cover and allowing the offensive trident to attack the box. During build-up, Navas would often play it short into the centre-backs, who would look to move the ball centrally, as to allow the fullbacks to already gain ground. The first pass then would look to be central, and it's here where we can see the excellent rotations and movements from the midfield trio. While Casemiro was the designated holding midfielder, he was understandably less consistent on the ball compared to Modric and Kroos, and Casemiro would often be the target of a heavy press, as the opposition felt they could more easily dispossess him. To avoid this issue, the midfield would often rotate to form a double pivot, with both Modric and Kroos being comfortable in this position. However, the rotation would differ depending on who came short. If Modric formed the double pivot, then Kroos would usually shift out wide on the left, allowing Marcelo to move even further up, and subsequently allow Ronaldo to move more centrally with Benzema. The reason for this movement out wide was that Kroos had one of the greatest passing ranges in world football, and would seek out an area of the pitch where he would receive less pressure, and thus more time to change play, or move the ball into the strikers. Similarly, as he would look for time and space, it was usually him to drop between the centre-backs to form a back 3. And from here, he could easily pick out either Ronaldo or Bale, who would find themselves in a 1v1 with the opposition fullbacks, with Marcelo and Carvajal quickly making their way up. Across the 3 Champions League campaigns, Kroos averaged a 94% pass accuracy, with 6.43 long balls per game. Alternatively, if Kroos formed a double pivot with Casemiro, then Modric wouldn't move out wide, rather he'd move centrally and between the lines. This change in rotation was because while Kroos was an excellent passer, Modric excelled in tight spaces, and was more capable of beating his man to open up the pitch in the final third. One slight difference to note in build-up occurred when playing in a 4-3-1-2, With Isco in the attacking mid-role, then it would usually be Casemiro to move between the centre-backs, as it would then free up space for Kroos, Modric and Isco to move the ball between them and forward into Ronaldo and Benzema, with the two fullbacks overlapping to form a 3-5-2. After beating the first line of pressure and attacking the opposition's back line, Real Madrid kept an exceptionally wide shape that stretched the back line and freed up space in the centre. Marcelo and Carvajal would hug the touchline and either attack the back line to deliver an outswinging cross or stay in support on the edge if either Ronaldo or Bale stayed out wide. This width is something Real Madrid would often exploit, shifting over to the flank with the ball and then looking for either Kroos or Modric to switch play to the other fullback, where they could quickly find themselves in a 2v1 against the opposition's fullback. The shape would then resemble a 2-3-5 with Modric and Kroos on the edge of the box for any long-range efforts, or to circulate possession out of tight spaces. The inverted winger and fullback combo was deadly on both flanks, and having the option of cutting inside or attacking the back line meant Real Madrid had an unlimited amount of options they could exploit. Depending on what flank the ball was on, then the opposite winger and fullback would attack any crosses, meaning they always had at least 5 players in and around the box. Finally, it's important to highlight how brilliant the front three were. The BBC combination of Bale, Benzema and Ronaldo was responsible for an unbelievable 245 combined goals. Ronaldo and Bale were unstoppable when cutting inside onto their strong foot, or with late runs onto the back post to meet any crosses, while Benzema was a constant aerial threat, with excellent hold-up play to allow the team to gain ground. When in possession, it's clear to see just how dangerous Real Madrid could be. A relatively straightforward and effective style of play meant they could easily control the vast majority of their fixtures. But a large part of this control is also due to their rather impressive defensive discipline. While they weren't the most aggressive pressers in the game, their offensive shape meant they could quickly counterpress the opposition if possession was lost, and surrounding the player on the ball, closing off any passing lanes. The midfield trio were crucial during this first press, and were excellent at shifting out wide to cover the space left by Marcelo and Carvajal. This was an area that the opposition would often look to exploit, given that it could quickly create a dangerous opportunity. However, Modric and Kroos proved to be exceptional at closing this space down. Overall, when out of possession, Real Madrid would adopt a mid-block shape, with the wingers moving more centrally and covering any passes through the middle. Their defensive shape was slightly lopsided, as Ronaldo would often stay further up on the pitch, closer to Benzema to help with any quick counters, while either Bale or Isco would drop deeper. Casemiro would cover any space in front of the back line, sitting just in front of the centre-backs to ensure there was no space on the edge of the box, forcing play out wide, where Real Madrid could rely on the excellent Sergio Ramos and Varane to dominate any crosses and get the ball out of the danger zone. This close midfield shape also meant Real Madrid were very dangerous on counterattacks, and would look for Kroos and Modric, who could easily pick out Ronaldo or Bale attacking space behind the defence. Their impressive 3-year run came to an end after beating Liverpool in the Champions League final, thanks to some questionable plays by Karius and one of the greatest Champions League goals ever scored by Gareth Bale. The following summer showed how all good things must come to an end. Ronaldo signed for Juventus, and Zidane felt there was nothing left for him to achieve with this squad, and it was clear that a rebuild was soon to be on the cards. Nonetheless, this Real Madrid side has gone down in history as the most dominant Champions League side ever, and will certainly be a tough one to dethrone. And now, let me know what you think. What did you make of Zidane's tactics, and do you think someone will ever top them? Let me know in the comments down below, along with any suggestions for future videos. And if you want to support the channel, then check out my Patreon for exclusive content, or simply leave a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.